Yes, people. Yes, people. Yes, people. Welcome back. Liverpool versus Chelsea. Massive result for Chelsea. How does that make you feel, Quakey?
Yeah, it was a great performance, man. Probably our most complete performance of the season. First half, we had all the attacking impetus. We looked like the most dangerous team, putting our passes together quite well, playing out the back, beating Liverpool's press. And the second half, as to be expected, Liverpool were a bit more on the front foot, so we have to defend quite resolutely, which we did really well. And yeah, man, it was a complete performance. It was almost the kind of performance that you see those top European teams come and put out on show when they come to play English teams in the Champions League. Not saying that we are a top European team yet, but it was the best performance I've seen from Chelsea this season. So yeah, I'm really happy with the result.
100%. All I'm saying is Liverpool are finished.
Yeah,
They're over. They're
they're
over.
done out here. Like, it's crazy because obviously they've had injuries and everybody knows it's been well documented. But last night they had Allison back, they had Fabinho back. So the only real players that were missing were Henderson and Van Dijk. And they just looked a shell of themselves in terms of like their combination play, the triggers, the fullbacks didn't look the same. Just their pressing as well wasn't as sharp as it's been over the last couple of years. They look like a shell of themselves. So Klopp's got a big task on his hands to kind of turn this around to ensure that they qualify for the Champions League next season.
Well, statistically, they're pressing 30% less than what they were last year. And I think the as much as they have had a lot of injuries, right? The injury excuse is getting very tired now. They have enough going forward to be troubling teams, and to lose 5 games in a row in the first time in their history at home after a God knows how long. What was it? 68 win run.
68 games unbeaten.
Come on, like, it's ridiculous. When you still got Mane, Salah, and Firmino up front, you have enough in your front three to be troubling teams. You know, Mane in the first half. You know, he like when do you ever see Mane scuff a shot like that? He should have scored in that first half. You know.
Yeah.
Honestly, they have enough going forward to trouble teams, and they're just not. You know, that's the real difference. They're not scoring goals. You know.
Mm-hmm. And like Salah got taken off in the 60-something minute and he was fuming. There seems to be a bit of discontent within the ranks at Liverpool. And like you say, the point is perfect. Like they can complain about injuries, but the injuries are to defensive players. So the main injuries they've got at the moment are Van Dijk and Henderson. Those are players who are probably more defensively minded. But Liverpool don't look like they can score a goal. They don't look dangerous at all. It took until the 85th minute for them to have a shot on target, which was a tame header for Ronaldo, which Mendy easily took. They just look so blunt. And if Salah doesn't pull out a piece of magic, they don't look like they're going to score. Mane looks a shell of himself in terms of the player that was playing for them last season. They just look like really, really short of it. And like I say, Klopp's got a lot of work on his hands to ensure that this team don't throw away the hard work that they put forth last season. Last season, they're one of the best teams the Premier League's ever seen. This season, they're in danger of putting forth one of the worst Premier League defenses we've ever seen. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Klopp turns this around because they look done out here. One thing I will say is football always hinges on individual moments. And in the first half, it was weird because Christensen was a bit late to a tackle in the box and caught Mane. And if Mane played for Chelsea, I would be screaming at him to go down in that situation. He should have gone down and that would have been given a penalty. There was sufficient contact for the ref to give a penalty. And then in the second half, I think it's Firmino kicks the ball and it hits Kante on the hand. To be fair, it probably is ball to hand, but we've seen those penalties given. So there was a couple of moments in that game where if the decisions would have gone either way, it could have been a different game. But in terms of the entirety of the game, Chelsea were well deserved of their win.
Oh, 100%. Chelsea didn't bring anything to that game. They just didn't look up to it. They were very lackluster. Sorry, Liverpool were just very lackluster all over the pitch, offered nothing. You know, they looked a shell of what they were. And it's almost, to me, like I don't doubt Klopp's coaching ability. I think arguably the best manager in the Premier League, and I still think that regardless of their current form. But does he have the players, you know, playing the way he wants right now? Is it time to, you know, go back to the drawing board and say, look, we need to reassess how we're actually playing our games because we're getting battered at home? You know, does he need to change the playbook until he gets the players back in the squad? You know, until there's a bit of a confidence builder because they're not pressing. Like they have for the last 2-3 years, what have Liverpool been synonymous with? Relentless pressure. You know, like they don't let you breathe. Like all over the pitch, they're on you constantly. And if you're literally statistically pressing 30% less, what identity do Liverpool have? You know,
Yeah.
clearly not much of one, because if you can get turned over five games in a row, like that's relegation form. You know, that's relegation form. And I know you can say there's no home games at the moment, and obviously Anfield doesn't have any fans or anything, but that's inexcusable form, inexcusable, especially for a championship type, well, for a side that's defending the league. It's just
it's unacceptable. And that, like you said, there's going to have to be like serious like self-reflection in the summer for Liverpool. There's been throughout the season just like drops of discontent in terms of Salah coming out and saying certain things, and kind of players, not, it hasn't been at the forefront of like people's minds, but there's been little things that don't seem right at Liverpool. So I think in the summer you're going to have to really assess the Salah situation. He's incredible. He's the top scorer in the league this season. He's been amazing since he's joined. But if he's not as happy as he should be, and you can recoup a lot of money for him, and maybe go big for one of these big name strikers, maybe like a Haaland or whatever, like an Mbappe in a perfect scenario for Liverpool, I think you have to assess that situation and kind of make a tough decision, because something needs to change, because it's not the defence at the moment, it's the fact that Liverpool look like they can't score goals.
Yeah, just very lackluster, lack of creativity, lack of dynamism up front, and that's just something they've been synonymous with. And maybe that is down to the lack of pressing. You know, how often do you see the high pressure, high up the pitch from Liverpool that forces defences into mistakes, and then Liverpool go and get a counter-attack goal or something like that? You take a large portion away. It's what I mean. It's a lack of identity. But
it's crazy that it come off like the back of them smashing Palace. And then the only kind of good result that they've had in this awful run was against Leipzig away, where their high pressing forced Leipzig into a mistake, which in turn caused Liverpool to score a goal. But apart from that, they've not looked like scoring at all. So like you say, it's the lack of pressing is an issue for Liverpool, and it'll be interesting to see how they get over this.
Their last home win was against West Ham, and I think if you go back and watch the video, I think my opinions then are justified. Like again, like they just look so lackluster right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm not a football manager. I'm not Jurgen Klopp, but he's got a hell of a job. But anyway, guys, that's enough on Liverpool, Chelsea. Thanks again. Like, subscribe, find us on all our channels, listen to all our podcasts. We respect the fucking support.
The support, we respect it. Nice one, guys.
The worst ending ever. Right. Cheers, guys.